Prepare to get gas because it's time for the Week in Gear. This week, Fender bring back the Mustang Micro, Boss puts a classic delay at your feet, and Epiphone give us that Hendrix guitar. This week is sponsored by Pedaltrain. More about them in a bit. Now, let's kick off this week's most exciting guitar gear releases with that delay, from Boss. Boss have been on the compressor game again by squeezing the Roland SDE-3000 rack mount delay into a Boss compact pedal. That was a deliberately bad choice of words. This is a delay, not a compressor. Coming in at around 200 notes, this compact pedal aims to deliver vintage digital delay tones with an expanded creative range, to quote Boss. It's got onboard modulation with independent rate and depth knobs, there's a high cut control for shaping the high frequency amount, and there's a variable offset feature for creating sounds with a secondary delay line. It's just occurred to me how ridiculous it is to say vintage digital. That is weird. I think that might be the first time I've ever put those two words together. The maximum delay time is 800 milliseconds in mono/stereo or 1,600 milliseconds in mono. Speaking of stereo, it's got two stereo delay options. There's panning and discrete stereo, which you can also run stereo, wet/dry, and dry mute. I'll be honest, I don't know what some of that means, but it was on the website, and if you do know what that means, those are the specs you need to know. Adding to the specs is the tap tempo, and you can connect up to 2 foot switches or an expression pedal. Plus, there's a TRS MIDI input. That is a lot of stuff squished into a compact pedal, but for me, the impressive thing is that even though this is powerful and feature-full, it still looks and seems pretty simple to use. I had a listen to the official Boss release video, and the sound demos are sublime. And Carlos Garcia deserves huge credit for making that pedal sound very musical and very creative. And I hate him for it. Whether this new pedal sounds like the original Roland SDE-3000, I can't tell you, but Carlos did make some fantastic music with it, and if you're an Eddie Van Halen fan, then this has gotta go on your pedal board. The Harley Benton DNAfx GIT core, the Git core to its friends, is a scaled down version of the DNAfx Git. It's got 55 amp models, 55 cheeseburgers, 55 fries, 55 amp models, 26 built-in IRs with support for third-party IRs, plus 151 effects. So, if numbers impress you, Harley Benton has got lots of them. Having all those bells and whistles are cool, but not if you can't use them. So it's good to know that there are up to 200 preset patches available, and you can use 9 types of effects simultaneously. The DNAfx Git core also has an 82-second phrase looper, plus drum machine with 40 patterns and 10 metronome rhythms. It's got a chromatic tuner, USB connectivity for editing your patches on PC and Mac, plus it's an audio interface. Now, as it's a scaled down model, it has had a few features removed from the big brother, so this one is mono in and mono out, and it does not have a built-in expression pedal. But you can plug in an expression pedal to the expression pedal socket, so everything else appears to be the same as its bigger brother. It's mainly the stereo-ness that you're losing, I think. I will be more than happy to be corrected in the comments section. Being the smallest sibling, this is also the cheapest multi-effects for Harley Benton, coming in at a laughable €88. And if it sounds any good, this seems like a no-brainer backup rig, or indeed a budget solution for going straight to PA or for recording. I am genuinely excited at a multi-effects that's €88 and has the backing of Harley Benton and Thomann for returns, etc. Because when you're buying these cheaper products, sometimes some of them can break. But Thomann will probably sort you out, almost certainly, if something goes wrong. This little multi-effects would also be a pretty good practice tool, as it has a socket for an aux in, and you can plug headphones in. And I'll be getting one in the studio for review pretty soon. But at this price, it's got to be worth a punt, and it's hardly worth making a video for. But I am curious, and I'm sure you are too, so I shall make a video. But now it's time to talk about our sponsor, Pedaltrain. You might not realize it, but the quality of the soft case that your pedal board goes in is almost as important as the pedal board itself. Sure, these aren't the cheapest on the market, and there are other pedal boards you can get for half the price that do the same job. But for how long? So if you want your pedal board to be transported safely, make sure that it's a Pedaltrain. Check them out at the link below. This is the part where I say, if you're enjoying this weekly show, then please consider the subscribe button. But this week, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to try and persuade you to share this show on your social medias. It's always been my aim. Stop the voice. I'm stopping the voice. I'm genuine now. It has always been my aim to make this show the #1 gear show of the week. And if you want to help make that happen, you could share this show in the guitar forums or on Facebook, or print out the URL and stick it up in the window of your local library or post office, or even a music shop, if you can find one. Anyway, I do appreciate the help. Thank you! Number 3, the Epiphone Jimi Hendrix Love Drops Flying V is an inspired by Gibson recreation of Jimi Hendrix's Flying V. Jimi's V was originally Sunburst that was refinished in ebony and then hand-painted by Hendrix. We'll talk more about the finish in a moment. This recreation has a mahogany body with a rounded C, one-piece mahogany neck, topped with a laurel fretboard and mother-of-pearl dot inlays and 22 frets. That's a Maestro short vibrola that you see on there with a lock Tonomatic bridge and Epiphone Deluxe tuners. Rather amazingly, this Epiphone comes with Gibson custom buckers, which are among Gibson's most expensive regular pickups and my favorite pickup that Gibson makes. It also comes with a hard case, which, judging by the graphics on it and the plush interior, it is intended to be part of the Hendrix package rather than just to keep the instruments safe when traveling from your weekly pub blues jam session to the huge stage in the Isle of Wight. With Hendrix being possibly the most famous left-handed guitar player, being a Hendrix guitar, this Flying V comes in a right-handed version and left-handed version, which I think is a nice little nod to those people who play left-handed. But if you want to be truly authentic, right-handed people should buy a left-handed version and play it upside down, and left-handed people should be a right-handed version and play that upside down. You're welcome. I do like the modern addition of a Graphtec nut. That makes absolute sense. Why put anything else on there? But I'm a little bit disappointed by the laurel fretboard, because this seems like Gibson are just trying to gatekeep the rosewood for the Gibsons, because if this was a financial decision, I think most guitar players would take a rosewood fretboard over a fancy hard case any day. But I dare not speak for all of us there. Actually, did Gibson ever do a version of this? I need to have a look. Hang on. I'll be back. Yeah, they did. They did a custom shop version in 2006, I believe, which you can find used online for about 10,000 notes. Ouch. I love Flying Vs, even though they are ridiculous to play in most situations, certainly sitting down here. And I love how Gibson have skirted around the fact that Jimi Hendrix is Fender's most famous player. Although, I do think that Epiphone and Gibson have been quite clever in releasing that animated promotional video, because there are only so many photos of Hendrix with a Flying V, but the animation kind of fits the psychedelic movement, which, yeah, it fits. I like it. One thing to note, however, is looking at the pictures of the guitar, I don't think this is hand-painted. I could be wrong, and I hope that I am, but this looks like some kind of print that is then covered in a clear coat. Also, Epiphone are not claiming that it's hand-painted, which makes me think that if it were hand-painted, Epiphone would be absolutely shouting about it. So my money's on not hand-painted. And this might be the most expensive Epiphone Flying V to date, at around 1,500 notes, depending on where you are in the world. Nowhere does Epiphone say that this is a limited edition guitar, but if these don't sell out instantly to collectors, I can see that price dropping by a couple of hundred pretty quickly. I don't remember the last time that Hagstrom released a new guitar. I certainly don't think I've talked about them on this show before. But now they're going to release a bunch all at the same time, and my goodness, are they scroll stopping. There's the Adina, the Megin, and the Tremar Viking baritone. There's very little information about the baritone, as it's not even on their official website yet. And I dig the Adina's shapes and specs, but the one that's got me sweating is the which is either pronounced Megin or Megin, but I'm going to call it the Megin, because if I'm going to get it wrong, I might as well get it 100% wrong. Before I get into the specs, let's take a look at the different colors, because I think Hagstrom have nailed whatever it is that makes my eyes fill with joy. They have the Grey Burst, the Aged Sky Blue, Black Gloss, and Cream. I'm going to take a guess that most of you would find something there that you'd like, although I would like to see one in that bright red that they do the Viking 2 in, with a black pickguard. Now that we've decided that they're pretty, let's see what they've got going on for the rest of it. The Megin, has a double-cut mahogany body and set mahogany neck, and even though this looks very Gibson-inspired, it has a 25.5-inch scale length, which is more akin to Fender. The 15-inch radius fretboard is made of resonator, which is some kind of wood composite, which I think might be the same as ebinol, as Hagstrom say this sounds and feels very much like ebony. And, be still my beating heart, it has rounded off block inlays. The Megin has Hagstrom custom 62 pickups, 1 volume, 1 tone, and the 3-way switch. And there's a Hagstrom wraparound bridge with some very intonatable saddles on there. I dig the shape, I dig the color choice, and I dig the little details that make this different, such as the personalized knobs and the machine heads. And I think that makes this model look like a cross between a Gordon Smith and a D'Angelico. Frustratingly, at time of making this video, no price has been announced, which is the main reason that this is not my pick of the week, because if Hagstrom get the pricing wrong, these models are going to be dead in the water. If these models are also made in China, we could be looking at as low as 600, but any higher than 1100 is probably asking too much. The good news is that I will meet Hagstrom and I will get to play these guitars at Guitar Summit in Germany in a few weeks' time, so I will report back with a full video just after the show. That is assuming they bring the new models with them. If I were them, I wouldn't leave the house without them.
Andy's Pick of the Week!
My pick of the week is the Fender Mustang Micro Plus. This is a plug-in headphone amplifier with a bunch of effects and an upgraded version of the Fender Micro Mustang, or Mustang Micro. The Mustang Micro Plus has 25 amp models and 25 effects. It's got a swivel jack plug that's going to plug into your guitar and a headphone out for plugging your headphones in, as well as Bluetooth connectivity and USB-C for charging. The battery can last up to 4 hours, which is enough for most sessions of practice, I would say. There's 100 preset slots available, and you can save and edit presets with the Fender app for your phone. That's fun to say, the Fender app for your phone. This Plus version has more than double the amount of amps and effects than the original Mustang Micro, and just like the Katana Go, this has a built-in tuner and built-in display, so you can actually see what's going on. And this fixes my main issue with the original Fender Mustang Micro. I loved the sounds, and I was happy playing it, but I would have to remember what color LED was associated with which amp and effect, because there was no screen. And this was more than confusing and ended up with me being more frustrated than overjoyed at playing guitar. It's also pretty cool that you get 6 months access to PreSonus Studio One Plus. That's Fender's or PreSonus owned DAW included. So you get that free if you buy Fender Mustang Micro Plus, because the Fender Mustang Micro Plus is also a USB audio interface. And my fingers are crossed, everything is crossed, well, not everything, but most things are crossed, that you can record not only the affected signal going in, but also a clean DI for reamping, and that is probably just a pipe dream, but I have, however, ordered one of these, and I will have it by the time that you watch this. So I will post a short on this channel with some quick sound samples, and I might answer that question about the DI, depending on whether I think that fits a short or not. Or I'll save it for another video. Subscribe, like, comment. The original Fender Mustang Micro was my favorite headphone amp until Boss brought out the Katana Go. But then, due to a parts shortage, the Katana Go was discontinued. So Fender could be taking over where Boss has failed. Boss are bringing the Katana Go back with parts that they can source, however, but maybe it's already too late. I almost forgot to tell you the price. Whoops. The Fender Mustang Micro Plus is going to set you back around 150 notes, whereas the original Micro can be had now for about 100 notes or even less. So I'm really looking forward to seeing if that extra 50 is worth it. Thank you to the wonderful people that support this show on Patreon. Their names are up on the screen now. Hello, everybody! And these people support the show right here on YouTube. Thank you, and hello to you as well. Hi. If you want your name up in lights, then click the join button right here on YouTube, or visit my Patreon link in the video description, or if you don't want your name up in lights, but you do want to support the show, share the show somewhere. Like I said earlier, share the show. That's fun. Here's a special thanks to the top tier members. Alinta Boston, Buddha Blue, Boom Shakalaka, Buzzle, Dark, Dirk even, Doug Paget, Hugh Rection. Oh no, I laughed. Johnny McBavington, Michael Mike Luke Lerner, Pops Place. This prank is officially sponsored by Jason Welch, Andrew Morgan, Dustin Bonney, Gary O'Neill, Josh Tamberg, PQ Deads, Rob in Kelly, Sarang Narayan, Southern Panda 33. Southern Panda 33, I'll add it again in case you missed it. Thank you, top tier members, that was fun. Remember, you don't need any of this gear to sound good or get better at guitar, but who am I to decide that for you? So there are links in the video description and first comment if you want to purchase it. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!